So we've gained an understanding as to what artificial intelligence is, what ChatGPT is and what it's designed to do, and we've even gotten familiar on how to access ChatGPT and understand where some of the key icons are in the user interface. So the question is, what do we do when we're in here? Well, of course, we prompt, and we prompt right, and we start chats. So I'm going to show you how you can do that. I'm going to go ahead and navigate to the home screen of ChatGPT here. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit to make it a little easier to see. And then what's really great about these AI tools is that you can just ask anything you want, and these AI tools will do its absolute very best to get you an answer. So say, for example, I'm doing some cursory research. I'm starting to understand a little bit more about artificial intelligence, and I heard about this term called Agentic AI. So I'm going to go ahead and ask ChatGPT. And then just to add a little bit more information and context, I'm going to actually ask ChatGPT to say, hey, is ChatGPT a form please state. Okay, so I went ahead and asked it a question. What is Agentic AI? Is ChatGPT a form of Agentic AI? And if not, please state what type of AI ChatGPT is. And so these are the type of things, especially at the beginning of your use with AI, generative AI. I know for me, this is really what I used AI for, is to get some information on questions or terms or things that I'm not super familiar with, and then have it provide me some insights. Now, is that the cleanest prompt? Absolutely not. But I do want to mimic sort of how we all begin our journey when it comes to interacting with artificial intelligence. Later on, we'll actually talk about the art, which I truly believe it is, the art and skill set that is AI prompt writing. But let's take a look. So you can see, number one, how quickly ChatGPT responded to me. And then I want to make sure that it actually answered all of my questions. This is something that we have to do repeatedly. Don't just assume that the AI has the right answer. It can, and it will do it frequently, make mistakes. Even as the models get more advanced and the reasoning gets better, it still will make some mistakes. So it's important for us to take a look at the information afterwards and make a determination. So agentic AI refers to artificial intelligence systems that exhibit a high degree of autonomy, goal-directed behavior, and often the ability to make and execute plans over time. So it gave me an overarching definition, which is what I asked for. It provided me with some key characteristics of this agentic AI. And you can see that it kept in mind the rest of my prompt, and it answered it. So the first question I asked after I asked the main instruction was, is ChatGPT agentic AI? And it answered no. In its default form, it's not agentic. Then I also asked it, okay, so if not, what type of AI is it? Well, ChatGPT is a form of generative AI based on large language models, specifically OpenAI GPT-4 architecture. And then it added a little, even though I didn't ask it, it actually added a little extra component to say, hey, why is it not agentic? And this is one of the things that I love most about using generative AI. They go above and beyond. Right? I asked it 3 sets of questions. It answered those perfectly. I would have been happy there. But it actually wanted to elevate my learning by including an extra section here, a little extra bit of information that helps it understand why it's not, and then you can see it actually continued. So that's the basic form of interaction you'll be having with ChatGPT. You put in a prompt, whether it's a question or instructions, it responds in kind. But there are a couple key things you'll notice at the bottom of the screen here that I do want to bring your attention to, especially when you begin your journey with ChatGPT. These icons down below are going to be absolutely essential for determining how ChatGPT is shaped to work with you. And we'll talk about what I mean. The very first thing I want to draw your attention to, oftentimes when you're beginning to put prompts in for the first time, you'll get this question that says, do you like this personality? What does that mean? Well, ChatGPT is going to learn to respond to me very differently than it's going to learn to respond to you. The reason being is that we are training our AI. So it's going to take in my data, the way that I write, the way that I communicate, and then use that to replicate or mimic when it comes to its response. Vice versa, I may have told it in a prompt, hey, I want you to speak in a way that's direct and professional. It'll learn from that, and then the next time I continue to prompt, it'll speak more direct and more professional. So you could put in the same exact prompt I put in and may get a very different style of answer. And that's the personality. So if I like this personality, I'll go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And what that's teaching ChatGPT is saying, hey, I like it when you respond this way. So that next time it responds to you, it'll try to follow this way of communicating. And you can see that down below here. You can mark it as a good response, But you can also mark it as a bad response. And I do think that especially in the beginning of your journey, and even, you know what, not even just the beginning, throughout your journey, this level of feedback is important. Being able to tell your AI, hey, I like this response, I don't like this response, that back and forth, that communication is what is going to help your AI learn you and is going to get you the best outputs eventually. Over here, you can have it actually read aloud. So this is a great accessibility tool. You can have it read aloud the text and capture that information. You can edit in Canvas. So let's say we started this conversation on Agentic AI. I'm writing about 4 to 5 prompts back and forth. I decided, you know what, having to wait for an answer isn't great. Let's take it over to Canvas so we can collaborate with each other in real time, especially as these prompts and the prompt history becomes a bit bulkier. And then last but not least, you'll often see this icon here. This little icon lets you know that you can switch models. Now again, in the ChatGPT free version, we have access to 4 Omni and 4 Omni Mini. So those are just kind of, oops, sorry about that, clicked the wrong icon. Let's go back here. So those are going to be the options that we automatically see. But you can see that there's already a couple of other ones we can choose. So O4 Mini, which is great for advanced reasoning. You can use the search the web feature and such. By default, I would say let ChatGPT automatically choose the model it wants, especially since it's beginners. We're just getting used to using it. Let it make those determinations, but it's good to know that you could actually switch your model at any time. If this is a question that I really wanted some better reasoning and research on, I might switch to O4 Mini. And when I do that, it'll actually refresh my page. So that's important to note. Whenever you switch a model, it'll actually refresh your page and give you a different answer. And so that's a little bit of an introduction into sort of how to start a chat, and then also taking a look at those feedback options. Again, I cannot stress enough, provide that feedback, it'll train your AI. But with that being said and done, now we're ready to dive in a bit deeper into some of the more advanced prompting techniques and more advanced prompting options, and starting to understand what makes an effective prompt versus what makes an ineffective prompt.